Hi, welcome to my channel. In this video, we are going to talk about Pluto in the 12th house. I will give you guys a little bit introduction about the 12th house and a little bit introduction about Pluto, so we combine them together and explain what it means having your Pluto in the 12th house. And this video might go a little bit longer than my other videos because I do have this placement and I personally relate most of the experience, or most of you guys have this placement, so I might talk a little bit more. And another disclaimer, based on your planet rulers, your north node, south node, and different planetary position, it might play out differently in each person's life. So if you like a detailed personalized reading, I will leave a link down below so you can reach out to me and we can have a session together. Or we can just connect, like you gotta talk this shit out of your system. Anyways, so the 12th house. The 12th house on the zodiac sign, it represents this let me start with let me start over again. So from the 1st to 11th house, it's all like earthly matters. It's about developing out, it's a process of developing our ego. Basically, you are separated from the source and you are developing your separate identity, which is ego, and then you have your separate desires. In the 1st house, you're exploring your individuality. 2nd house, your possessions, values. 3rd house, like it goes all the way until like the 10th house, house of career, social status, power. It you are identifying yourself in a national concept or a country. And then when it comes to 11th house, you are breaking through the limitation of your own culture, your own conditioning, and you become like you're having more international identity, or you're having at least like planetary, and like, oh, I'm a citizen of Earth. But when it comes to 12th house, now you transcend that identity to next level. Now you're so close to source energy, or the God energy, or the creator energy, that you transcend all of your identities and belief system into like you're merging with something like bigger than yourself. So 12th house on a zodiac sign represents beyond this earthly matters. It is the collective consciousness, or it's the totality of 12th house archetype. And it's also beyond this world. It could be the other dimensions, other entities, extraterrestrials, or the totality of the whole like cosmos. It doesn't exclude anything. So what does it mean having your Pluto in this house? Pluto is the furthest planet from the solar system, and also the darkest planet. It's the most unseen, unheard. In evolutionary astrology, like Pluto represents our subconscious desires or attachments that we want to work through this lifetime. Sorry, my dog is snoring really bad. Buddy, wake up. Hey, wake up. Anyways, you guys might have to just listen to his snoring. Where were we? So having Pluto in the 12th house basically means your soul has the intention to let go all the ego attachments or all the ego identities, and it wants to merge with the source. It wants to merge with the creator of everything. So if basically you want to be God, and if you want to be God, you got to let go of the human identity. And which is hard because you live with humans. And this world is just full of ego desires. The mainstream the law and culture, everything revolves around our ego. So you trying to like get rid of your ego is basically people have to see you as a crazy or something wrong with you. And you also see yourself that way because like your experience just makes no sense. I'm considering like, should I call you guys or should I call we, since I have this placement too? Let me just say we. So we goes through very interesting experience that other people has no power to comprehend. We will go through such a disempowerment and traumas and the limitations and the persecution. So you can say like this is the most difficult placement to have, like the fourth house and 12s. And it might play out like differently based on your evolutionary stage of your consciousness and how willing you open you are to accept this reality and stop fighting. So the way it plays, like I won't say like you guys are like young soul, because we definitely been through all the 12 house matters and we developed our ego for such a long time. So we're not like young souls. We didn't born a couple lifetime ago. Like we've been through so much. We have so much experience and knowledge. And you might just know things without why you know it, you know, like, so now we're at the final stage of letting go. It's like you're playing a game, you're at the final level of the game. If you win that one, you're graduated, congratulations. So that means for your soul, if we can pass this test, if we can accept and surrender to this power, the force, something like bigger than us, this creator energy, and we let go our ego identities and desires, we will graduate and we will stop suffering and we will stop incarnating to this world, because there is no need, because you have mastered all the human lessons, and you also mastered how to surrender your ego. Now you're good to go to the heaven. Just kidding. So it, like when I came across astrology, like knowing my placement and knowing this, it literally took like a split second to give me that relief. And you know, like your whole life you wonder what the hell wrong with you, and then when there's explanation why things happen to you the way it did, you just have this really like unexplainable relief that you just get sense of peace. So I hope I can at least help you guys to have, maybe you already have it, maybe not, have that sense of peace in you, even though you never know what the hell is going to happen tomorrow. So for this intention, like we want to get rid of all our ego desire, ego identities, and we want to merge with the source and the creator. And there's of course there's going to be fight back, because we lived so many lifetimes to form our ego, and it will fight the hell out of itself to survive. So we will suffer during that process, when our ego and soul is fighting with each other. And so it manifests 3 different ways. One is some of you guys, some of us will resist, and we have tremendous willpower. Like I said, we have very strong, powerful ego. So it can since we are the co-creator with the God and we can manifest anything we want, so we end up identifying with our ego. We trying to stay our comfort zone. We trying to be in a separate state, separation, and we don't want to merge. It's like you're by the black hole and then it's just pulling you, the gravity is pulling you, and you're just fighting the hell out of yourself, resisting it. So some of us will succeed resisting, and we will achieve our egocentric desires. Might get like super famous, super rich, or any like fantasies and any dreams, unrealistic dreams you have, because we have very rich imagination. I don't know about you guys, but I do. So we can make that imagination fantasy become reality through our powerful ego or willpower, as we also like have a power from the, you know, the source energy. We can tap into it really easily compared to other Pluto placements. So that's one way this placement will manifest. And another way is some of us will stuck in a between. Basically, we're resisting it, but we were not like too attached with our ego side either. We're still open-minded, where we realize that there's a power bigger than us, stronger than us, and we need to surrender to that power. Like, we're not always in control. So when you surrender, like, you do that sometimes, but the other times your ego will take over again. So you're just shifting back and forth between surrendering, like something crazy happened in your life, this crisis happened and you need to survive, and then you praise like, please God, I'll do whatever, please take this away. Like, we surrendered at that moment, but once the crisis is over and everything back to normal, and then we're back to, you know, the comfort zone of ego, like, okay, everything is okay now, I don't have to believe that superpower or whatever. So you guys gonna just jump back and forth. This is very common for most Pluto in 12th house. And the third manifestation is really just total like surrender. Now my AC kicks in, so it's gonna be loud in the background. We have to surrender to the unknown. We have to surrender to that, the source energy, which is there's no time or space, there's no limitation. And it feels scary because our ego is afraid of being annihilated or cease to exist. Because when you merge with something, you're losing your own identity, and which identity is like the ego, and you have to go through that ego death process, and it is hard. So we will have extreme fear, but some of us will take a leap of faith and will just surrender to the unknown, surrender to something higher than us. So the lesson we need to learn is really have a faith and a belief in something outside of ourselves. Because when you go through traumas in your life where you have no saying what happens to you, you have no power to protect yourself or, you know, decide what happens, and everything is like you feel like a victim. And this is really common issue with Pluto in a 12. We want to play victim. We do feel like we're a victim of our circumstances, our environment, our culture. But at the end, you need to take your power back. When you surrender to that higher power, it will eventually like protect you and give you the power that you need to survive. So it just brings some memories, and kind of like, I want to pause this video, let me cry for 5 minutes. But anyways, so the third scenario is very rare because it is hard. A lot of us might get stuck in this karmic wheel of like letting go. We might just try to latch on anything that familiar, known to us, because we constantly go through disillusionment. Like we're pursuing something, we pursue a career, we pursue a relationship, we pursue social status, we pursue something, and then you instantly lose interest. You get it, but then you lose interest. You find it meaningless. Like, what's the point? And then you move on to the next thing, and then you lose interest again. So it's like constantly going through this disillusionment makes you feel like so empty, and then like, what's the point of life? And I know like this suicidal ideation can be like common for us, or like they call it like bypass, spiritual bypassing. It can be something like we just don't want to deal with our problems, or we want to numb our feelings so we don't have to feel any of the pain, things that we go through. So they call it like escapism. We're prone to addictions. We use alcohol or drugs or cigarette or whatever to numb our feeling and escape from reality. And we also have this conflict in our mind because we are so close with the God energy, the creator energy. All we know is the perfect world. Everything is ideal. There's no suffering, no pain, nothing. And then we're so confused with the human world is full of evil, horrible things. And then we're constantly comparing to that ideal world with this earthly, ugly world. And just like, we're judging others, and we're judging others because we're using very high standard, which nobody can reach. So when you become very judgmental, definitely keep in mind that either you judge others, you judge society, or you judge yourself not living up to that standard. Just keep in mind that like even us not we can't even live up to that standard. So don't be so hard on yourself or hard on others, and use this judgment or discrimination to the people around you or in your life. Because another trait of Pluto in the 12th house is we do not have boundaries, energetic boundaries. So like our energy body is literally open, and it can receive anyone's energy, like they call it empaths. So you can easily absorb others' energy and then confuse with your own. And it's not just others' energy, it could be the energy coming from, because you become a channel. In order to become channel, you have to let go your boundaries. And only Pluto in 12 has this, you know, has the situation where you don't have boundaries, but all the other placements, they do have boundaries, so they know how to protect themselves. But for us, it can be difficult, and you might get prompts from other source of entities or energy bodies, and you think it's coming from you. Like, I used to have this really sad feelings out of nowhere, like I was working and doing my thing, and suddenly this like urge of crying, sadness, and I don't know where it comes from, and I can't even explain, because nothing really bad happened to make me feel that way. And there's like sometimes this, you're stuck with this negative talk and just chattering in your head and prompting you to do something silly or stupid. And that's also like one form of negative prompting. And it's not always bad. Like, if this sounds horrible, let's say sometimes you might get prompts from like divine energy or the source energy, which is like at least the good message. You might do things without like why you want to do it. You just get that pull or push. So yeah, like not having those energetic boundaries, we need to learn how to discriminate when people come into our lives. We need to discriminate by their intention, because we can easily attract people with a lot of sufferings and issues. Because I mean, the source energy, it it has unconditional love and compassion. So we might reflect to those who is suffering in the society, and then they're attracted to us, to our healing energy. So when they come into our life, if you don't understand yourself, you might easily sucked into their drama or their suffering, and then you confuse or you take on their suffering, their pain, and then you already have your own pain, so it just makes it worse. So definitely use your power of or judgment of discrimination on those kind of like energies and people coming in your life. And the opposition of the 12th house is the 6th house. So we need to learn lessons of 6th house is house of service to others, uh, house of like practical matters, because 12th house is all up in the air. It's not something tangible, or it's all metaphysical, but 6th house is something tangible, something practical. So what helps you is really developing a practical practice to keep you grounded, so you're not detached from this world, like you're not on the earth anymore, you're just living in your fantasy or bubble. Like, you need to interact with this world, you need to do some sort of work, doesn't matter what it is. You need to do some practical work to keep you grounded on this earth. And so you're basically the karmic lesson is like, you can't swing too much on one ways. Like, one way you can be like up in the air, spiritual, and then don't care about anything practical, earthly matters, and just want to pursue that enlightenment, right? Like, meditate every day and not involve any earthly matters. The other side is working every day, work, become workaholic, and don't give you a chance to like connect with your soul. And both of them like extreme situations, because even becoming enlightenment starts with your daily matters, like doing simple things, eating, drinking, doing your responsibilities, paying the bills. All of that can be spiritual, or you can practice your spirituality through daily work, daily routine. So you have to combine those two together, so you're not going extreme. Because I think I've been to this side of extreme. Like, I used to work. I would never give myself time to relax or rest. Like, I had 2 jobs and working 80 hours, and I would literally pass out from exhaustion, like physical exhaustion. Because we do suffer, like, anxiety, paranoia, like a lot of psychological issues, because we're battling with things that most people cannot imagine, or they don't have to face it. So it can be difficult, but you will find a balance at the end. Like extreme cases, some people might like, they use their ego power to achieve like their dreams, like separate desires, and then the next lifetime they might like, their soul is like, okay, I think you got too much power, like let's take all your power away. So just know that like life is not there to torture you or anything. It, all the like difficult stuff we've been through, it's just to reduce our ego power, basically. Let your ego kneel, kneel, like yield, um, like let it have a humility, like, so it doesn't get in the way of your soul's intention, which is merging. So a lot of things, crappy, shitty things happen to you is not there to torture your soul. It's really to teach your ego lessons, like you need to surrender. You're not powerful as you think, because you're not real. Ego is not real, and you have to surrender what's real, which is your soul. So maybe this will give you a little bit, remedy all the things you've been through. It's not to like attack you personally, because I used to think like, oh God, it's so cruel, why let things happen to me like this? But it was really happening to my ego. So when my ego is quiet down, my ego is surrendered, like, okay, I give up, I just feel so powerless. And then my soul comes in and takes over. And then from there, like my life got so much better. And I can talk forever. So if we summarize at the end, the lessons we need to learn, the polarity point of 12th house, the 6th house, develop practical matters, like practical mental habits to keep you grounded, or like seek spirituality in a healthy way. Because if you are taken over by ego, you might shun from spiritual stuff, like, yeah, it's just woo-woo BS, I don't care. And then you go back to your ego world, but you will suffer tremendously. Trust me, like when you become friends with ego and your sole intention is let go ego, it's just gonna make your life living hell. So it's easier just let go of the control, give the driver's seat to your soul, sit back in the back seat and relax, enjoy the view. Don't worry about the destination, because you don't know where you're going. Just know that you're going home and you're gonna feel safe and you will no longer suffer. And some of us may have came with certain mission, because Pluto in a 12, you pretty much completed the whole karmic cycle. And when we graduate, we don't really have a need to come back here, come back on the earth, unless you have a mission and you want to help the entire humanity evolve to the next stage. You come back with that mission. So if you feel you have certain mission, you have to do certain work to like assist something. If you have that sense of destiny or mission, it can be found on your birth chart. Definitely book a reading with me. We can look at what kind of work suits best based on all your planetary rulers and everything. So I wish you guys the best, and get comfortable with unknown, get comfortable with surrendering, and then everything will get better, I promise. And leave me a comment if any of those resonates. I will talk to you guys on my next video.